Hi, I'm Claire.
And I'm Kay, and we're going to be talking about pupation and eclosion in fruit flies. And so we're interested in this because we want to measure the fruit flies' pupation period and their eclosion period. And so Claire is going to tell us how we're going to do that.
First, we're going to start with multiple vials of larvae, and you're going to have labels with the different diets. So like here we have high sugar, here we have high fat, and here we have high protein.
Once the food is in the vial, then you put the larva in it, and then once you put the larva in it, then you mark them every day. And so you see, and then Claire will tell you how you mark them, but you see them climb up the walls and make a cocoon-like thing on the side of the wall. And so do you want to tell them how to mark it?
So you're going to take a marker. Once the larvae have climbed up the wall, you're going to take your marker and you're going to circle each larva, and then you're going to give them a number. So like this is 1, here's another one, label that 2, 3, and so on. Okay, so once you've marked this one, you keep marking them until all of them have eclosed, or in some cases some will die, and then that's it.
And you'll know that they've eclosed when their cocoons look empty. And so when you look at the vials and they're still in pupation, there'll be a little black dot, which is the pupated fly. And then once they close, then the cocoon will be empty.
Okay, so as I stated earlier with the whole marking the vials and stuff like that, so this is how you're going to record your data. So on day 1, you're going to have 1 o'clock, 1300. And then you start out with 0 pupa. So total time-wise, that's 24 hours because you just started. So then daily, you're going to check at 1300 and count the number of pupa that have reached pupation. So as I stated earlier, where you mark each vial and give the pupa a number, this is where you're going to record those certain numbers. So once they've reached pupation, and depending upon, however long it takes them, you're going to record each day which ones have pupated, and then the total time that it took each of those to pupate. So this is on a total time frame, and since you're doing it each day at 1 o'clock, you add 24 hours. So first, we're going to start with 24, and then you add 24, which is 48, and then you keep going and keep going. So then, or wait, do you want to cut and then explain the graph?
Doing your graph, you want to make sure that it's a universal graph. So you want to make sure that you can use the same graph for, it doesn't matter how many number of pupa you have in your file. So it doesn't matter if you have 4 out of 8 or if you have 3 out of 6, you'll still have 50% of your larvae pupated. And so you'll need to count up your total pupa that have pupated on certain days. And so like on day 2 you have 1, day 3 you have 1, 2, and 3, so that's 3 pupa. And then on day 4 you have 6 because you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you have 6. And then you find the percent. So then on your graph you want to make a graph that has percent in the number of hours, and then you can just graph your hours and then your percent and just make a nice line graph. And this graph is great because you can do it for different diets and the X and Y axis won't change. And so then you can compare, like, for example, the high fat diet and the high protein diet. Then you can compare that the high fat diet, it took them longer to pupate because the graph was shifted to the right.